Hello and welcome to Garblag Games. We're playing Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay and this is Flint and Steel! Welcome back to episode 6 of Flint and Steel, our Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 2nd edition role-playing show. I'm Pete, I'll be your game master, and in a moment we'll go around the team. One member who is new, we can introduce back to the show, and the rest will tell you what they've spent on their experience. Before we do, we did a little poll on Twitter to help out one of our characters on the show. We took a little vote of who should get a free fortune point. The result was a tie between Heart Twin and Bagrik, and unfortunately, as Heart Twin's not here, because Jim can't make it this week, unfortunately, but he will be back soon, so don't worry. Roger, your character has an extra fortune point for this adventure.
Default.
So we're going to do that poll after every episode. So once it's up, you can go on to Twitter at Garblag Games and vote for which of the players in the episode you think deserves an extra fortune point in the following episode. So we'll be doing that going forward. Okay, cool. Right. So, should we go round and just say what we spent our experience on? And if we start with Lawrence, then when we get round to Kevin, he can say hello and tell us about his character.
Hi, I'm Lawrence. I'm playing Torvald Rolston, the Dwarven Cartographer. And this week, my experience went on a buff to my agility, increasing it to 31. As every dwarf needs that.
Nimble.
I'm Roger. I'm playing Bagrik Rolfson, brother of Torvald. I'm playing the Dwarf Shieldbreaker. And this week I spent my XP on Cool-Headed, which gives me +5 willpower.
Cool.
Hi, I'm Simon. I'm playing Alvin, otherwise known as Mr. Forks, to those that need bashing.
Which is everyone.
Which is
In his mind.
anyone who moves. I have spent my points on resilience, as I feel that could come in quite handy.
Very resilient.
Very resilient, yeah.
Cool.
I have very strong already, so I figure, going for the pair.
Cool.
I'm Kevin, and I'm playing Seigbert Aldman Von Schultz. He's a human noble from a small little town in Reuteland.
Cool. And those of you who have watched the show for the last couple of years, one of you maybe, may recognise Kevin from our Planescape D&D that we did a long time ago, where he played a tiefling bard.
Really fat, hairy tiefling, yeah.
Yes, cool. Okay, anyway, so, previously on Flint and Steel, our three cunning, agile, and sneaky characters decided to undertake some subterfuge and investigate the house of Ottfried Auenheimer, the trader who was killed in the chamber back at the beginning of the series, dressed as a cultist, who was the friend of Hasso Krehl, who is the strange little old man running around the town doing weird things with homeless people. And you basically found a load of facts and a load of information last week, didn't you? Mm-hmm. You found out that Auenheimer has recently purchased an old temple in the shanty town, which he has also placed an order for lots of equipment to do what looks like some advanced spelunking underground. And you guys have found out from, what was his name? The chap. I'm trying to find it on my sheet. Steng. That's it. Morelius Steng.
Mr. Steng.
Who was kind of the confidant, maybe major bookkeeper for Auenheimer, who seemed to have a change of heart. And finding these people who are very interested in what Auenheimer was doing, he handed over some details that were important.
Yeah, his ledger.
Must be nice to hand it to the watch.
Yes. But in there you found a letter from simply signed S, which, Simon, you believe it may be from the...
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Sansavinos.
Yeah, I can't.
You're going to sing it.
I can't. Not yet.
And saying, well done, I'm glad someone's had the spine to stand up and do this job. Go and buy this house for us under your name, and you will be rewarded. And another letter from Krehl, you assume, which says, "Excellent, our true master will give us all the wonderful things in the world."
Yep.
So you guys had put 2 and 2 together and realised that this ruined temple of Verena in the shantytown is probably the place to go. And it was the middle of the night, or sort of late evening.
I kind of worked out from how much time we spent having surgery and beer drinking and everything else. It must have been pretty late.
So approaching midnight,
I think that's good.
the 3 of you, with a couple of beers under your belt and a little bit of not many for you, had decided to head out from the 2 griffins and go to the Falkenberg Forge to get supplies and go to the temple and check it out.
Yeah. Soon to be my temple, as I must have been left it in his will, I feel.
Excellent. While this has all been going on, Seigbert, you have made the acquaintance recently of one Gunter Suss. Yes,
Mr.
Ben, you're not getting away from us.
Mr. Suss.
Mr. Suss, who has been helping you settle into the city of Null in a way that only a halfling litigant with dubious morals can.
Yeah, got me out of a few scrapes. More than one, I'd say.
And he has asked for you to pass on a message to his acquaintances and business partners, including his bodyguard, Alvin, and to inform them that he will be indisposed for a while and that you want to assist them in their current venture in order to pay off your debt to him, because you don't have enough coin to pay him. So you are headed towards the 2 griffins as you see the aforementioned Mr.
Fawkes.
Mr. Fawkes.
If you can't pronounce it, I suggest you stay well away from me and out of range of my knuckles.
Mr. Fawkes, who you had been told would be flanked by 2 same stature dwarves. And as you approach the 2 griffins, there's lots of merriment going on inside, people drinking, and there's music coming from within. As they step into the street, you see them from across the way. You guys got all your gear ready. You are got your weapons, got your armour, your nice shiny armour that you were going to a party in.
Looking well shiny.
You are very shiny.
Yeah, I don't smell very much.
All of you you 3 make perception rolls based on vision. Whoever that matters to. I never remember which of you dwarves is
Me.
He's got the
vision.
sight.
I've got the vision.
Okay.
He's
Yeah. Eyes and ears.
Now picturing a dwarf with no eyes. Like,
I pass.
Yeah, like
Just.
you
nice
pass.
guys, Rog.
He was at home. These were a gift from Kevin for my birthday.
And they always roll well on percentiles, but really terrible on D20s.
Great.
I don't know why.
Cool. Okay. So good for Warhammer.
Good for Warhammer. Terrible
Unless
for
you're-
D&D.
Unless you're rolling stats, in which case they're really terrible for Warhammer.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, who passed? Who passed? Intelligence?
I did.
No. Okay. Bagrik, you noticed that
No degrees, but I passed.
a human across the road who looks like
Yeah, so I'm quite tall with kind of dirty blonde hair, but like my hair itself's in a hat, but I've got quite big mutton chops, and I look so I'm quite finely dressed in essentially huntsman clothes, like what a noble might think huntsman clothes look like, but they're a little bit too finely cut.
So fancy clothes.
But like they're all in like muted greens and reds, so it's not like really ostentatious, but they're really well cut, but they're really dishevelled, and I look rough. Like I'm holding a piece of paper and kind of like I'm trying to see it. Like I'm looking up at you guys.
I think we're being watched. That manling over there. I'll nod in his direction.
he can hear you.
I'm across the street. I assume they're...
Yeah, but it's Bagrik. He's quite loud.
Albert? No. Alvin! Yeah?
I think you've got a friend there, manling.
I don't think I know you.
I
I think you should stay at least 10 paces away until we decide whether I want
He's 20
to know
paces away.
you. Okay. Step into the light.
I look
I
down.
can't see
and
I
the
can't
gap
see
between
you.
us are like...
Is he holding any weapons?
Actually,
'Cause I can
I'm
see that.
supernumerate. I think I'm right.
that I'm.
He is more than 10 paces away.
You told me to stay 10 paces. That's fine. I already am 10 plus.
Are you carrying any weapons?
yeah,
Because I can see in the dark.
Like a shield and a short sword.
You're actually holding them.
No, they're
Oh,
not
okay.
carrying. No, there's a shield strap
Belt
on the
and back.
And
Yeah, okay, yeah.
very much away.
I am Alvin.
Yeah, Alvin. Sorry, you know Suss, right?
Mr. Suss? I know Mr. Suss very well.
Yeah, I owe him a favor. Sorry. So I was just woken up. Wait, what day is it today?
You keep bumping into people that owe Mr. Suss a favour.
Yeah.
You've seen the kind of
Yeah.
foppish, young,
Yeah.
lower level nobles who accidentally come a cropper in the town, and occasionally they turn up.
I'm assuming you have a message for me.
Yeah. I don't know why he sent it to me specifically, because it wasn't him that gave it to me. It was a young lad. I mean, it's got his signature on it, so I assume it's got a seal. But he says he's out of town for business for the foreseeable.
Perhaps you should stick with us. I don't think you'll
I mean, it says
survive long in this town on your own. We're going that way. I'm not hanging around. If he follows us, we can stay.
Yeah, he told me to go with you in case you needed an extra pair of hands.
Yep, that's good. You can go in the front.
Yeah, or an extra something to stick to something, I guess. Okay. I put it away. You did say you'd have dwarves with you.
Yeah.
Caslid operation.
We're
Shield it is.
This one knows where we're going. We follow him.
Hi guys, he didn't mention your names, which I think is a little bit odd. But...
And you are?
Oh, excuse me, I'm Seigbert Aldman Von Schultz.
Mr. Schultz.
You can call me Seigbert. You don't.
Mr. Schultz.
Seems nice.
I'm Bagrik Rolfson.
I see you said you were walking on. I didn't know you were just going to march on.
saying it. He sort of casts it over his shoulder. as
I
he's
can't
going.
march on him, so I'm following
Mr. Schultz he, like walked off. He's always like this.
Aye. This is Torvald. He's my brother.
Torvald. Seigbert.
Bagrik.
Good to see you, fellas.
Okay, so Torvald, you start leading the way through the Neustadt
To the forge.
towards the forge. Yeah, to the Falkenberg Forge. And a runner has been sent ahead to warn that you will be arriving to receive some of the goods that are on the sheet. However, they weren't all quite finished, if we remember.
Yeah.
So there'll be enough for you guys. There was supposed to be enough for 6 people, but enough for 4 will be complete. And you make your way through the town. The town takes on a very different air at night, as you're aware. But the Neustadt, which you're not as used to, has a bit of a nightlife. And not just drunken fighting in the streets. People seem to be enjoying the city at night, which is different for you, especially Alvin.
Yeah.
And you make your way through the town, and there are a few stalls and shops that are still open late, sort of food things, that kind of stuff, kitchens, giving out to drunken people who might need a bit of sustenance. And you make your way past the fountain that you passed before, where your nice lady friend Gilberta was plying her trade, and then you head down towards the Falkenberg Forge.
Pete, on the way past, if there's any kind of like kebab, really like naff, like awful food place, can I
There's
just grab some?
disgusting, greasy meat on a stick.
I'm already hungover from yesterday. That's
Okay.
the reason I'm like.
Okay. So you chuck a penny to a kid and he
Yeah. So
hands you
whenever we arrive there, I'm still kind of like.
nondescript meat with a bit of gristle on it.
And
It
long
doesn't-
tail. It's about.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
chewing on it.
Yeah. With a spike on the end.
Extra crunch. It's for picking your tooth out.
Yeah, absolutely.
The mutant
Absolutely.
rats.
Yeah. So you guys make your way to the Falkenberg Forge, and as I said last time, it's on the corner of an intersection of 2 roads. Large structure. It's all kind of closed up now, but there is a dwarf there standing out the front, and he's got various boxes and bags. That's enough to hold the equipment that you guys have. He's sort of holding a piece of paper and looks at you, says in Caslid, "Is this for you lot?"
Aye, it's for us.
Right, well, I'll get back to bed then.
Gromdrath sent us to pick it up.
I've got his note.
We won't keep you. We'll start rifling.
Just kind of does that dwarfy nod.
I'll nod back.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm not holding the kebab.
So, what did it say that they had bought from the Falkenberg Forge?
Spikes, grapples.
Explorer's Emporium, Brazen Arm Blades. We don't actually have the one for Falkenberg because it was returned to the.
Aha, yes, it was. So you have
I believe it was.
spikes, grapples, and
Rope, I think.
Hooks and things with climbing gear,
yeah.
basically.
It's climbing.
So there's rope
All the
for each of
metal
you, a hook, grapple hook, and there was
Like
30 iron spikes.
Yeah.
So you kind of got that.
Basically,
various
lots
bags and
of, lots
loads
of climbing gear.
Loads of
Yeah.
heavy metal gear.
Are they separated out into like a bag for each person kind of thing? Or is it
No,
like-
it's just kind of like a
Yeah.
job lot put
Yeah.
down of each thing. That's for you guys to do.
Just start divvying it up.
Yeah, just divvy it and take.
Divvy gear
This-
up and roll up.
Is this to be used in the city? Because I've been in trouble already here. I don't know if this is the best idea.
You'll be fine.
Don't worry, where we're going, they won't see you.
So we're okay. Because Seuss isn't here anymore. It's fine. It's fine.
There's money involved. You'll be fine.
There's always money involved. If there wasn't money involved, you wouldn't get in trouble.
We're not in trouble, manling.
Okay, good. No, I trust you guys. I've never met you before. I just got put on you by a shifty halfling. So
Yeah.
don't worry.
Shifty indeed.
Slight smile.
Okay, cool. So you divvy up the gear. So you've all got grappling hook, rope, spikes, as required, and you head off into the shanty town. So the Neustadt is a nice part of town, but as you get towards the docks here, the town starts to deteriorate. The fascia of buildings is crumbling. The structure themselves are in disrepair. And as you make your way towards Arms Road, I believe.
Arms Road, yeah.
Yeah.
To make your way to Arms Road, it seems to be generally the buildings here look like they've suffered some sort of seismic event that's made them collapse, crumble. Occasionally the road is like at an angle. Things look like from beneath there's been some maybe collapsing of sewers or something like that that's caused to destabilise the area. And Arms Road, you sort of heading towards it. You can see further down that there's a large open sort of plaza area with a fountain which no longer works. And in fact, it looks like it's overgrown with moss and crap from better days. Ruined buildings sort of abut onto this courtyard area. And to one side you can see this old temple building, now crumbled, collapsed, but sort of wooden boards and hoarding have been sort of put up around it in an almost sort of fence-like way to sort of cordon it off from the area. Everyone make perception rolls based on sight. Seigbert, you're at minus 10%.
Would you get any bonus if you have perception?
It just means you're not on half your stat.
Yeah.
Not on half the stat.
If you get perception again, then you're at plus 10.
I have actually asked this before.
You did last
Okay.
episode. Yeah, go back and watch it.
Perception intelligence. Right?
Yes. Fail.
Fail.
Passed by 1 degree.
Passed.
Okay, so the dwarves notice that the fountain has got a central piece where obviously water would come out of it if it was working. And you can see that there's someone sitting on the other side of the fountain behind it. Other than that, the whole area seems to be deserted right now. It's quiet. You can hear the docks. You can hear the sound of even the Blind Pig from here, the massive tavern, if you remember from a previous episode. And the area around seems to be, you can hear sort of shuffling around. Maybe there are some people sort of hiding in ruined hovels, but there's no sort of population in the immediate few buildings radius of you. And this person seems to be there sitting on the fountain.
So
I'm going to signal for everyone to stop and be quiet. Basically with my hands of...
If he stops suddenly, I probably would have bumped into his back. Just saying.
Okay.
And then I'll be like, sorry.
And then I'll go as quietly as I can, tell them that there's someone sat on the other side of that fountain.
Do we know which building we think the building is we're looking for?
It's the big temple.
The property that
the temple is what we're looking at.
So they're going to go.
So is it the one the other side of the fountain, basically?
Yeah, so the other side of the fountain, sort of at 2 o'clock from you, there's a ruined temple that someone's built a kind of crappy fence around to keep people out. And this building is ruined. As you're getting a little bit closer, you see most of it's crumbled in. The walls are broken, and whatever's on ground level doesn't look like it's very much intact.
Is there somewhere through the square? There's
buildings around you. You could go around.
Yeah, but if we go through to where the square is, and the temple's the other side, is there somewhere we can go?
Yeah. There's other little paths heading off between buildings and things. So you could just be walking
could pretend
through.
to be drunk to see who he is, and if
Well,
he gets up to anything, I'll shoot him in.
I'm not drunk. I'm hungover.
I'll shoot him back in the head.
Really hungover. I've been hungover since
Fancy Pants could just like wander out, and I can be his bodyguard. I don't need to act very much to do that. They'll ignore us because, well, and then if he needs, like, you know,
I'm gonna draw my crossbow.
Love these little adventures. I get to be bait. Always fun. Okay. You know what you're doing, right?
Yes. He won't lay a glove on you.
If the manlings get in trouble, deck him.
Okay.
Wait,
The manling.
Was that?
Deck him.
Do you speak Catholic?
No. I'm just saying because that in Catholic because it's like, wait, deck us or
Yeah.
So we're going to go into that temple. We know that the temple is guarded.
Just try and get an idea if that bloke's watching the temple or not. If he is, we'll take care of him.
Okay. So we're going to go into the temple, but we know it's being guarded.
Do we want to amble by and I'll act drunken and you can be...
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can even hurl abuse at me as if I'm your bodyguard if you like. Make it as realistic as you like.
I'll just pretend I'm my father.
Away from us so they don't see us.
Yeah. And then and if he basically starts to try and shoo us away and he looks like he's bodyguarded, then we'll just wait for the dwarves to bosh him. And then see if anyone comes out.
Okay. So you guys are going to amble down the road. Seigbert playing drunk.
Yeah.
I'm not drunk. I'm hungover. It's way worse to do.
Yeah.
Literally aiming with my crossbow.
Okay, so you got your crossbow out. What are you doing, Torvald?
I am basically going to wait and see what happens.
I mean, we're going to stand somewhere dark.
Yeah, so you get to the side of the road.
We can see in the dark. They can't. So.
Okay. Cool.
Before we amble out, I've got around my neck, I've got like a chain with a little symbol of Sigma around it. So I'm just gonna and then.
Cool. Okay, so you guys amble out, and you start making your way down the road. Make perception rolls, both of you.
First time lucky. Yay!
97. That's apt.
I passed.
Something is making you feel like he's not the only person in this area. As you get into the kind of plaza, this crappy old plaza, you think, I'm being watched by somebody else. But you make your way across this, maybe to the other side of the fountain, so you can be. Or do you want to go past the temple?
We will go towards the left hand side.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then as we kind of go past him, I shall make some comments like, like perhaps having an ale with every wench wasn't the best as planned, Mr. Schultz.
Look, I'm sure it's this way. It's definite. We've been here before.
It's the other side. It's that way over there. It's not this way.
Excuse me.
It's that way.
We definitely came this way before.
This guy
What do I pay
turns
you
around
for?
That way.
And he's got. He looks like someone has seriously beaten him about in his past. He's got scars on his face. His jaw looks like at one point it was slightly dislocated and maybe not put back correctly. He's got a leather skull cap on, and he's got a thick cloak sort of pulled around him, but a big meaty hand.
Just one.
pokes out.
Okay, sorry.
No. Big meaty hand pokes out and goes, I think it's that fucking way. And he's pointing away from the temple to the left. No, not the way you came.
Not the
but
way
to
we
the
came.
left, like opposite.
The way you were going, or the way I suggested.
The way he was going.
Was it?
See, I told you it was that way.
Just because some vagabond agrees with you doesn't
Wait,
mean
you don't know
that
where we're
you're
going!
right.
What? He
We're going
seems
that way.
angry.
I don't care what he seems. He's probably as drunk as you are. Come on, this way.
Uh,
We shall stagger on a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
You think you hear a slight slide of metal.
do I?
A noise you've heard
Yeah.
many times recently.
Okay. How far away is he? And did I hear the slide of metal from him?
It came from his,
Did it?
from him. So obviously he's
Okay.
just like either put a knife away or pulled
Yeah.
something out.
Yeah.
Just a little, like,
Yeah.
I'm ready. He is probably 10 yards away from you because it's a fairly big thing.
That's a
and you
good
kind of-
distance. I like that. 10 yards.
You do love 10 yards.
You do like
10
10
yards.
Yeah.
I shall stop.
Or more. He's 11 yards.
You-
You calculate the
I
distance.
calculated. That's
The number
very
of squares.
It's very difficult for me to calculate that.
It makes you feel uncomfortable, so you take 2 steps towards him so you can be exactly 10 because you like a
Luckily-
decimal system.
Yeah.
Luckily, the Null engineers built the big flagstones, 2 foot by 2 foot, so
Oh.
you know exactly.
That'd be really useful if you ever had to play some sort of tabletop type.
Yeah. Okay. He's about 10 yards away from you.
Okay.
What do you want to do? You're going to go off in that direction? You see that he talks to them. You can't quite
Yeah.
hear it, but he's like,
And pointing away.
Well, we're
yeah.
not that far away, are we?
Well, you were a bit down the road, and he's kind of saying it to these
Yeah.
guys in a small area. So
Yeah.
you get the gist of it.
You get the fuck off gist that he's throwing out.
Yes,
The slight vibe.
just a slight vibe.
Do you have
What?
accurate hearing? Keep hearing.
You got the gist of it.
Yeah,
Make a
you
roll.
wrote it
If
down.
you want, you heard every
Yes.
word.
I've passed by 2 degrees,
You're so focused in on that area
and I'm aiming down my crossbow at
Yeah.
the bloke.
with your ear that you're kind of
I shall make a small sound and say,
With your mouth.
that's
with
not
your mouth or
No,
with
no,
a
no.
with a
with,
sword.
with something and say, well, that's not the friendliest thing I've ever heard in the middle of the night. Bloody hell. Do you think I'm a novice at this game?
No, that's why I think you'll fuck off.
Right. So we shall start to move away.
In what direction?
We'll go across the front of the temple.
So you're going to walk round him.
Well, no,
Right.
he's there. We went that way.
Yep.
And now
And he
we're
told
going
you to
that
go.
way.
Yeah, he told you to go that way.
And,
Yeah.
we're going that way.
Okay,
I'm bloody right, and I'm not having any crap
that way.
that way.
I think you want to be
I
heading in that direction.
I don't trust his sense of direction either. He doesn't look like he knows what he's talking about. I'm gonna follow you.
Good.
Yeah.
That's perhaps the safest
You
thing.
can pay good money for this, so it's fine.
He whistles,
Does he?
and from a nearby building,
Yeah.
you see a man pops up.
Yeah.
With a crossbow.
Does he? Okay.
Yeah, probably another 10, 20 yards away.
Yeah.
And the guy by the fountain says, I think you should go that way.
Okay. So
Make perception rolls to see if you saw it.
so the guy in front of me with a crossbow.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yes.
Okay.
He's threatening me with
I
violence.
didn't.
You
but I'm
You
probably
heard
very
the
close,
whistle, but you're
so
like, you see the
I will
target.
bury a throwing axe in his head.
All right, I'm gonna.
You're going to throw an axe.
Well, I have quick. I have
Quick draw.
Quick draw,
Okay,
which means I'm now holding a throwing axe.
sure. And he's got a loaded crossbow, so let's roll initiative.
Yeah.
Let's roll initiative, everyone. 1d10 and add your agility.
I think I might be going last. I rolled a 1.
Initiative! Ah.
It's the first number of the agility, right?
No, agility.
No,
You
just-
roll your dice
Oh, okay.
and add your agility.
You add your agility.
I'm pretty confident I'm going last.
42.
Well, you are Bagrik. You always go last. You go
I
last and you mop up.
I rolled a 1,
Oh!
I rolled a 4, but
and I start with dwarven agility.
Start with dwarven agility. That's not good.
Never a good thing with initiative.
I just hitchhiked. 42.
So can I draw my shield and throwing axe at the same
Yeah.
time? I can, can't I?
You can, well, you can, but basically you can for a free action, quick draw your axe, for example.
Yeah.
For a half action, draw your shield, and then another half action you can throw.
That's fine. So
You just can't
yeah.
quick draw, aim, and then throw.
No.
Yeah,
that's
or
fine.
aim or...
As long as I've got my shield when I get shot,
Yeah.
that's fine. I'm on 33 because I too rolled a 1.
Okay.
Don't worry, that's still higher than my 26.
Yes.
Okay. I'm on 46.
Taking out weapons is full action or half action?
Half action
Half
per weapon.
Sorry. So,
Yeah.
Bagrik,
26.
26. Torvald,
37.
37.
42.
Ah,
33.
Sorry, I didn't wait for the call.
33. Sorry. You knew what was coming. And
He's a
I'm
witch!
first. Burn him!
I did roll it.
He legitimately rolled the Wizard's Apprentice.
I actually rolled
Hey.
16 or whatever. And then
You
I
are,
went,
I think you're the first person to turn down Wizard's Apprentice. But I think you probably thought that Bagrik would just murder you in your sleep.
Roger was actually threatening me in person.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
no,
can't fight
he
a
wasn't
wizard.
threatening my person. He was like, we'll probably kill you. We'll almost certainly kill you. I mean, if we ever see you do magic, we'll almost certainly kill you. We would definitely kill you. We have more experience than you. There's 2 of us. We would kill you. I mean, okay. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
I guess I'm a fuck.
Shame we didn't do that. Because that would have just been fun. One episode just
Hi, I'm a wizard.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was tempted to do it and be like, I'm happy with rolling another character anyway. It would have been funny.
To give him the heads up that we've got someone that's really paranoid about
Yeah.
chaos, and wizards are
Yeah.
associated with chaos,
Yeah.
and 2 dwarves.
Yeah.
Not a good
Yeah.
survival move.
I was tempted to be like, just for that, I'm rolling elves. Yeah. Just to watch how quickly I can get killed.
Oh, even we wouldn't.
Wizard's Apprentice.
We wouldn't wait for you to roll wizard. We'd just.
I think actually.
I have this message.
Okay, cool. So, the man with the crossbow
Yeah.
shoots you.
See, I told you.
Shoots at you.
They wouldn't lay a glove on
He
you.
initiated first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not
Damn,
bad.
I was hoping I'd.
Oh, but he's wildly off. He rolled 82. So
Yeah.
his bolt goes, flies off.
They need
I'm
nothing.
assuming I was firing at
Yeah, I mean,
Alvin.
the whole point of getting my weapons out is because I did promise that they wouldn't lay a glove on you.
You hear a crossbow twang from the other direction
That's okay.
as a third assailant attacks you.
Is he shooting me?
Yeah, well,
Trying to.
trying to, but with a 98,
Yeah.
it's not going to work. Okay, so a crossbow bolt flies past you this way, and then one flies past you that way,
Yeah.
hitting the wall by the head of the first guy who shot you.
Yeah.
You realise there's someone behind
That's
you
the
shooting
world's
you.
worst ambush.
You're the dude from Pulp Fiction.
That's it. That's it.
The guy at the fountain jumps up
Yeah.
and pulls out a sword and a shield from under his cloak, and he rushes over and starts attacking Seigbert.
Good, I don't have any weapons.
But his movement is...
Oh, can you draw both and charge?
No, he's holding his shield underneath,
Okay.
picked his sword out,
Ah,
drew
okay,
his
cool.
sword, and moved forward. But he won't be able to do anything else, so he can
Move towards
he
you.
can get towards you. So he's
Yeah.
moved. His movement is 5. So
Wow.
he can actually move
Action move.
10 yards. So you were
11 yards.
11 yards.
So he's not quite
So he's
in
a
range.
yard away from you.
Yeah.
Just like the length of his sword. Okay, cool. So then next we have Seigbert. So this man has jumped up, come towards you. You can see under his cloak he's got chainmail on, and he's got a shield and a sword, and he looks like a real thug.
But he's only got a leather helmet.
He's got a leather helmet.
I got
Don't
the option of
put a
either
face.
drawing my sword or shield, because if I draw both, I can't do anything.
However, not a bad plan.
What, drawing both? Can I parry then? Do I have to go into parry stance?
No, you don't need to because you're holding a sword and shield.
I'll draw both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my action. That's my turn,
Cool.
I guess.
Okay.
Half action turn.
Next we have Torvald.
Have I seen where the other bolt has come from? Because it must be come from our side of the...
It has, but it's kind of in the plaza area on the left. You saw where it came from, but you
Mhm.
can't see who fired it.
Okay,
But you know where it came from, so you could
Sneak round
sneak round.
I'll sort of
Okay.
move round
in the dark.
in the dark.
Make a stealth roll.
Oh.
A silent move. What's it called?
Silent move.
Silent move. There we go.
Agility and half. Oh yay!
However, you are in the dark.
True.
Oh,
Passed on a 15.
Nice.
like a champion.
That agility bonus ad was a good shout.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, it was. So you sneak up to that building and you sort of get to the side wall. It's sort of all crumbled, falling apart, as I said.
Yeah.
You can see inside that debris has fallen in and that a man is leaning over a broken wall with his crossbow and he's kind of pulling it down now to start reloading it.
Yeah.
You realise you could maybe
Sneak
next
up behind
turn
him.
actually get in there behind him.
Yeah.
You'd have to make another roll because you have to climb over some debris.
Mhm.
So he may notice you if you fail that next turn, but you get up there and you can see where he is.
Yeah.
But he's going to be reloading next turn.
Put Steve Irwin in.
Oh,
Why is that? Why is that now? What's Steve Irwin?
stick my thumb up his ass. Okay.
Why is Steve Irwin American? What happened there?
Yeah, sorry, that's really bad.
I won't even try myself. I don't do work.
Oh my. Oh, axe.
Next is Alvin.
So, can I throw my throwing axe at the crossbow
Yes,
and then move myself with my shield to protect
you can.
the fop
You can.
with my shield?
You can.
I shall do that.
So, ballistic skill roll for your throwing axe.
42. 42. Is 42 good enough? So it's weapon skill, isn't it?
Ballistic.
Ballistic skill.
Ballistic skill. Okay. No ballistic skill 35.
Oh, so close.
Okay. So your throwing axe thuds into the wall.
Yeah.
And then you move.
Yeah. And then I shall move
Okay.
and physically
Okay.
hold. Yeah.
Cool. Do you want to, as a quick draw, pull your sword out?
I think I have to do that at the start of my next turn
Okay.
because at this turn I've
Oh no, I think you pulled your axe, and I think that's what triggered the combat.
I pull my. Oh, so does that not count then?
It's not part of the combat round.
No, it wasn't part of the.
So I can do 2 half actions to hit people. So the throwing axe is a half action.
You can quick draw
Is
your
move-
sword.
Quick draw my sword is free because I have quick draw.
Yeah.
So I could then
that's
hit
the
him.
thing.
I could
So
then
you
hit
can
him.
move.
I'm only 1 foot away from him. I'm only 1 yard away from him.
That is true. That's true.
So if I can,
Step forward and
yeah.
Yeah.
So I can actually
yeah.
just hit him.
Have you got 2 attacks on your profile?
I think you find I have 2 attacks on
Then
me.
you can.
you can only do one.
No, I know, but he's made 1 attack already, and then he can go and do
Oh, I
another
see,
whack.
okay.
So kind of effectively.
65. That's not good.
You've got to be a Rolfson for that to work, haven't
I
you?
think. Can I use a thingy point?
You can use a
14.
fortune point.
He is outnumbered.
How many do you have?
3.
3.
3. Can I? Do I
Yeah.
roll both again?
Yes. Roll the whole thing again.
Oh, it got worse.
Okay. It was obviously destiny. Destiny.
Fortune.
Yeah. Fortune.
Okay, cool. So Alvin, you threw your axe, it hit the wall.
Yeah. And then I moved up.
You move over to protect him,
Yeah.
but unfortunately you
And
missed. So Bagrik.
Having aimed twice, I'm going to shoot him.
Okay.
get in.
Yes. I hit him in the right arm.
The right arm. His sword arm.
Good place to be.
13 damage.
He no longer has a right
Okay.
arm.
I distracted him. That's what it was.
So he takes. Okay. He howls in pain. Ah!
As a crossbow bolt comes out of
The
nowhere.
front of a crossbow bolt pokes out of his arm
Yeah.
suddenly, and blood sprays out. And he's kind of screams in pain.
So I'm going to quick draw my crossbow away.
He keeps his sword.
I'm going to quick draw my crossbow away and use my remaining half action.
Do you
to pull
mean
my shield.
throw it over your shoulder?
Well, it's on a sling, yeah. I can actually
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Torvald.
On, it's on.
Oh shit! Okay, cool. So you've got it on a sling. So you
Yeah.
just throw it over your shoulder
and then
you're
pull
like,
my shield.
okay, pull your shield. Okay, cool. Right. Then we're back around to the beginning. So the guy who got shot in the arm is going to attack you, Alvin, twice with his sword. 68 is a miss, followed by 71. That's another miss. He's kind of like he's
Can I roll my parry because I would be attempting to parry, even though he's flailing and
Well,
missing.
no, that's like part of him missing,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
So the pain in his arm is obviously distracting him. He's kind of swinging his sword a bit sluggish. Yeah. Like, oh. Okay.
You're welcome.
The crossbowman who first shot at you, he picks up the sword and shield. And then the other one is loading his crossbow, which
Full action.
is a full action. So he's going to like get it ready. Okay. Yeah. Then it's round to Seigbert.
Can I? Is there any flanking rules? Can I come in from the side on this?
If
guy?
you are outnumbering him, you get plus 10%.
Cool. Yeah,
Which
I'll
you are at the moment.
come around to the side and try
Yep.
to hit him. Any other thing I can do? I'm vaguely aware of the
You can
comments.
aim and hit if you've only got one attack.
Yeah, can I aim and hit? I only have one.
Because you're in combat already, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can aim and hit.
I assume I was. Anyway.
Yeah.
Aim and hit?
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of point of doing
Woo,
defensive
23.
parrying.
Definitely is. So I'll hit them in the...
32.
Right arm. So this
Hey,
week's
freak.
location, the right arm.
Yes.
The thing continues.
Every week we have a favourite zone.
I can mega hit him. Like, I had to go under 40
Come on.
odd and I go...
Ulrich's Fury, come on. 4. What's your strength bonus?
Strength bonus... It's the first one, the
Yep.
strength bonus 3.
Yep.
So 7.
7 points of damage. Okay, so... You whack the head of the bolt with your sword.
It guides the sword along.
And he goes, ah! You're gonna fucking die! He's gonna go for you next time.
Seems unlikely.
Torvald, you're kind of going to move around and sneak in behind this guy and attack him. Okay.
Make the guy that's just spent all that time reloading his crossbow.
Make a silent move, and if you fail, then you will count as he's an unaware opponent, so you'll get plus 30% to your
If he
attack.
fails.
Sorry, no, if he fails to notice you.
Yeah.
Sorry, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
No, I failed that one.
Okay.
Yeah. 83.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you climb into the ruined building, but as you do, you don't realise that you thought a beam was solid, but as you lean on it, you realise it's kind of decayed and crumbled and it falls to the floor. And he turns around, holding his crossbow, and sees you, and the crossbow bolt shoots up into the sky. And you're like, aha! But he's not unaware of these.
That went prematurely.
But I'll still give you a plus 10%.
Okay.
Because he's unarmed.
Right.
Effectively.
Hit him then.
Go for it.
Yeah, hit him on a 24, which is the 42, so that's the left arm.
Okay, right. This guy's on the left arm. Cool. Okay, roll damage.
So last week.
10.
So you rolled a 10.
Yeah.
What's your strength
Okay,
bonus?
so you get to roll to hit again. Ulrich's Fury.
Alright.
Yeah.
No, I
Failed that. So including your plus 10? You get
including the plus 10
Okay, right. So it's just 10 plus
Yeah.
your strength bonus.
of 3, so 13.
13 points of damage.
Ow.
Okay, so yeah, he screams in pain as you hack into his left arm, which is sort of because
Leading
as you
crossbow arm,
leading
yeah.
crossbow arm, you kind of whack him in the arm with your axe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he screams in pain, and blood you see blood trickling down his arm. Right, next it's Alvin. He's got his dice ready.
Actually, I'll just hit him twice.
Okay, go for it.
I failed to hit him with the first one.
Okay, fortune point.
I failed to hit him with the second one.
Okay.
No,
No
if you roll
fortune.
96 and 98,
Oh God.
you don't.
Do you want some other dice? I've got some other dice in the box there.
I
You
must
can have
stick-
my ones.
I must stick with those dice.
Okay, got to roll out the back.
I distract him.
Yeah, you whack. He's like, what the fuck? No, he's gonna have a go in a minute.
Sorry.
Go on here if you want.
Oh, yeah.
How far away from I am?
Actually, no. I will use.
It will take you a
I
couple
will
of-
use a fortune point.
You know,
I can't not use
what's
a
your
fortune
move?
point.
I can run 18.
You can run 18, so it will take you 2 rounds to run.
So I'm about 30 something yards.
Yeah.
I will use a fortune point.
Okay, on your second attack.
Yeah, I might as well. 87.
Okay.
Alright.
So remember, on the Twitter poll for next episode, give it to Alvin because he needs them.
Don't give it to Alvin because it's not going to help.
It's not going to help. I've got 2 attacks. I'm all good.
Okay, cool. So next is Bagrik.
So
You're going to charge?
pull the
Gonna
axe
run.
and start
Okay.
like sprinting forwards
Do
towards.
we all kind of roll around laughing?
Running forwards towards the guy with the crossbow that just pulled a sword and shield.
Okay, yeah. He's
So
sort
not
of a bit
the
beyond
one
that.
he's
Yeah, sure.
the one pointing at them.
Okay, cool. Okay, so back to the thugs.
I missed that.
So the one that you're
I'm
fighting.
sorry.
That's all right.
He's still alive. How is he still alive?
He's still alive. He's going to have a go at each of you. One on
Because you
each.
missed.
Okay. Oh, Alvin. It looks like he's going to hit you in the 51.
I got 5 for my parry.
Okay, cool. So boom, hits your shield. Okay, and then he's going to try and hit Seigbert. That's a fail. 54 fails. So he's slightly put off by your parry, and then off
Because
balance.
as he parries, his arm
Yeah.
almost falls off.
Okay.
He's not done 8, but secretly I'm actually left-handed. Dropped his shield. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I got something good on though.
Yeah. So
Right, we hit you in the right arm.
the initial crossbowman clambers over
With his sword and shield.
with his sword and shield next to you.
Oh, has he actually run that far?
No, he's moving up.
Okay.
And then the other one drops his crossbow and pulls his shield off his back and his sword out
Okay.
to arm up. Okay, back round to Seigbert.
I'm gonna hit this guy again, hopefully in the right arm.
Okay, cool.
I don't have to attack, so I might as well just aim and attack.
Sure.
36, yeah, that's passes.
Cool.
So I hit him in the. No, wait, no, I didn't.
He's
So
hit him
you
in
rolled a 10.
63,
Oh yeah,
which is in the body.
the body.
Okay.
That's
With,
a plus
with an Ulrich's Fury.
Yep, so roll to hit again.
Oh, that's gonna smart.
That's a hit.
25.
So roll
Yeah,
some
so
damage.
roll a d10 again.
Another 0.
Alright, you just roll the d10
Just
again,
roll
you
the
don't
D10
roll the
again.
d10.
Those people that just...
Wow. Oh, we got another one!
What's your strength bonus?
Roll again!
And again.
Roll again! Roll again!
And again.
Unless
Until you stop rolling a 10.
Oh, another one!
Okay.
50, 53.
53 plus my strength bonus each time, right?
56.
No, just one to the end.
Okay.
Just one to the end.
Plus 3. 56.
Well, I just think that's not on.
I think you've chopped him in half.
Yeah. What kind of-
Jesus.
Is there even
Okay,
a critical scale for that?
What's he using? A rune fang?
Oh no, hang on. I don't need to. We don't need to roll. So, killed in whatever spectacular and gore-drenched fashion the player or GM deems fit. So, do you want to cut him in half, or do you want to stab him accurately in the heart through a chink in his armour?
Can I like run him through and then pull out one side, and then as he's kind of leaning over, just like
Yeah, absolutely. You plunge it into his guts and
like out
tear
one
it
side,
out
and
the
I'm like,
Cool.
not dramatic enough. Yeah.
You chop him in half.
Surely everyone else is just going to run away.
Wait.
I must want to run away.
You have destroyed his chainmail shirt as well.
Okay.
In
Yeah.
that
You would.
savage blow.
It's a shame I couldn't
This
use
one manoeuvre, this man slice off next to
That's
him.
one.
chainmail.
That's
Like-
one. That's one drunken fury.
And this body, like, in a horrible splatter of guts and gore and blood and flesh, just kind of sprays everywhere as you kind of, your initial one coats Alvin, and then as you hack him off, his body drops back and you get covered in guts. It's all over your nice boots.
Yes. Can
Drops
I look
to the floor.
Can I, in that I got so much damage, can I look up at the guy who's running towards Alvin and go,
Really? Really?
like,
He's gonna make a willpower roll to see if he doesn't run away. No, he's okay. Yep, and the one you're fighting didn't see it because he's facing the other
I think
direction.
Siegbert's got a rune fang.
56 damage in one hit. Awesome.
56.
Okay, right. Next is Torvald. Beat that.
That would have like dropped an ogre.
Or a demon, you know. It's like, that's
kills.
crazy. That's crazy. Cool.
Right.
Awesome. I'll cross him off. Like, a lot.
Do you want a pen?
Yeah.
Make it permanent.
Okay.
Right, I aim and hit the guy in front of me then.
Okay, cool.
Which I do.
In the head.
In the head.
Oh, yes. Nice. Roll damage.
Yep.
Here we go. Do you want to borrow his?
That is a 7, so 10 damage
Okay, on the head.
on the head.
Okay, he's got one. Okay, let's have a critical roll. Roll. You want to roll low?
94 is not particularly low, there you go.
Probably stunning or something.
Disoriented by the blow, the thug can only take a half action on his next turn. So you give him a good whack.
So I hit him with a flat.
No, blood comes down you whack him on the side of the head, and blood comes down the side of his face, and it sort of goes in his eye, and he kind of looks at you blankly and like starts to reassess his life.
He's got an already shot crossbow in his hands. He can only take out a weapon. That's all he can.
That's what he did in his turn.
Oh, okay.
To get his weapons. And you basically
I thought he was just going to
whack, and he's like,
bad choice.
okay.
Like,
Next is Alvin. So you've just seen this horrendous murder, but the guy still is coming towards you to the left.
Self-defense, my lord.
Fountain seems to be working again.
It's just red.
I don't even know if there's any point bothering to roll a die.
You never know.
I shall make some vague wafting of my sword in his general direction. So I hit him,
Okay.
and I shall make some vague wafting with my second attack.
Okay.
And I shall hit him.
I think it's being flippant.
On his first one, he's going to try to parry you with his shield. 80 does not succeed.
So 74 was the first location,
Okay.
which is
The body.
Yeah.
so that's 9 plus 4, 30 damage,
Okay.
and then
Hang on, let me figure that out. Okay.
62 for the second location, which is
Body
11
again.
damage.
11 damage to the
Body.
body.
Body again, yeah.
Right. Yep. Okay. You poke a couple of holes in his armour.
Okay.
Yeah. As he kind of tries to parry. He's climbing over the last few bricks and rocks and bits of wood. And you kind of catch him unawares and and he's like, ah! And like, looks very angry now. Bagrik.
I'm going to charge him.
Okay, you suddenly come barreling round the fountain.
Making that face!
Do it again.
He's exhausted, bless him.
Tongue out one side that makes it.
Okay, come in.
We're not used to long distance running.
Slobbering like a basset hound, like into your beard.
Oh, I'm going to use my free fortune point to reroll
Okay.
my 96. Yeah, that'll do. 8.
Okay. You come in and you whack one of his legs.
No, body. 80 is still the body.
80 is still the body. Yeah.
4, 8, plus
Mighty blow.
4, 12, 13 from Strike Mighty Blow.
How can you roll 4 and get to 13?
Wasn't it? Wasn't it?
Oh, right. You just said 4.
Oh, no,
and then
that's
got
my
to
strength. That's my strength
got to
bonus.
13. I was like, how? I was like,
I rolled an 8. My
I know
strength
you're,
bonus.
I know you're like a
cheating.
shield. You're like a shield breaker. But how did you get from 4 to 13?
I
Break
roll 8,
shields with
add
his
4 for
face.
my strength,
Eight
and then
for
add,
shields.
and then
That's
add
so
1
much
for my.
easier to break than people.
I've got
That's
Strike
true.
Mighty
I've
Blow,
heard
which
it.
adds 1.
People can say.
So you did how much damage, sorry?
13.
13 damage.
Hang on.
That will be a critical.
42. And remember, it escalates because I have Strike to
escalates.
injure.
It goes up one step, doesn't it? This is the annoying thing. The one annoying thing about the screen,
Doesn't have the upgraded step.
it has the criticals, but it doesn't have the table you have to roll on to figure out which critical you have done.
All of them.
This is great viewing. He's looking at the critical hit chart. Hey, here we go. You roll a what?
This
42.
episode is brought to you by...
42.
I don't even know.
Okay.
The brick wall.
Brought to you by Bricky. 42, that's that, and that's that. So, you damage his armour, reducing the armour by 1. until it is repaired with a successful trade armourer skill test.
Probably won't
The
get
character
to that.
isn't wearing any armour, or players are using the basic number 2 instead. Well, basically, you hit him in the groin.
Hey!
As
You damaged his
the
codpiece!
party likes hitting people in the groin. In memory of Gunter Suss. And you seriously damage his armour and smash one of the buckles of his chain shirt, and this kind of comes undone. So his armour is loose and not as effective.
This guy's hard.
Not for long.
Not for long. Okay, back round to the beginning. So it's me. Right, he is going to try and hit this dwarf who's just appeared out of nowhere and hit him in the balls.
So you get a minus because he's flanked.
No, we just
No,
get
you get a
bonuses.
bonus.
We get the bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get a +10 to our weapon skill because we outnumber him.
Yes. Okay, that is just a success on the 14, so it's hit you on the head.
27 to parry.
Okay, you boom, bring your shield up.
Oh, he just goes, dong!
Parry with the head.
That would be awesome. Okay, that was his first attack, so he's going to attack you again. A miss. He's distracted by your parrying skills.
With my head.
The other thug is going to attack Torvald, although he's in
Has he got a sword now?
serious
Yeah,
pain.
he drew
Yeah,
weapons.
he drew weapons. That's why he didn't do anything that turn.
Yeah.
Right, so his first attack, that looks like a hit. 21, that's in the 12, so that'll be your head.
Parry.
Okay, and his second
He
attack.
only gets half attack, half
Oh, he
action.
doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
So
So it's 1.
Got stunned.
Well done. Because that was going to hit you.
Yeah.
Because I rolled a 9. Damn!
Oh, never happens.
Yeah. I'll say that for the next one.
That was a 9, you didn't roll anything.
Yeah. Ooh.
Make sure that won't be the next one.
I've been here before.
There won't be a next one. Right, Seigbert. The guy is dead in front of you. The other one has arrived. Bagrik has come barreling round the fountain and just
Just
whacked him in
leapt
the
over
groin.
him.
How far am I from the other guy?
Not far.
No, you're not far. You could like.
Can I look at my sword first before I do anything and like look down at the real like blood stains everywhere and go, oh, not again! Charge in, we go for it.
Absolutely.
Aim and attack. Am I close to aim and attack or do I have to? Right.
You
You
get
have to.
I have to move.
Yeah, but you're outnumbering, so you get +10 anyway. You're kind of all standing around him, hitting him with swords.
That's kind of cut, but I don't
Roll
think
again.
that. 62. I need to get 51, so no.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay,
I'm too adrenaline up.
You are.
Shaky.
yeah. Next we have Torvald.
Hit the gentleman in front of me again.
Very nice of you.
On a 19, so 91, so in the leg.
left leg.
Okay. Right,
Let the
he's
side
going to
go.
attempt to parry and fail miserably.
I thought that was going to be a 9.
5.
5 in total.
Total.
Okay. Well, you notice he doesn't have any armour on his legs. So he takes a point of damage.
Still enough to make crit again.
And you crit again. So make a roll on legs. Do you have strike to injure as well?
No.
Okay.
He's a book
Want
dwarf.
to roll low,
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah.
Book dwarf. Book dwarf. Hill dwarf, mountain dwarf, book dwarf.
10.
10. Oh, okay. Cool. That's good. Right. Your axe swings low, and he brings his shield down, but doesn't get there in time, and you hit him in the thigh, turning his leg into a bloody ruin. The character he falls backwards, blood hosing everywhere, and he is helpless. Blood loss is such that the victim has a 20% chance of dying each round. Here we go. He's dead.
Kill Bill blood.
I'll read the rest just in case there's anything cool in there. Test at the blah blah blah. If the character survives, he must make a toughness test or lose the foot permanently. But anyway, yes, you hack into his leg. Blood hoses out everywhere. His foot and the rest of his calf kind of drop to the floor, and he's kind of clutches his leg in agony. His weapon and his shield drop to the floor, and he kind of death gurgle as blood comes out of his mouth, and he hits the wall behind him and slumps down. Cool. Right.
They're not having a good day of it.
No, they're not.
I don't think they were expecting
Alvin.
so many of us.
This guy's dead. Torvald is dead. That guy's dead. There's just
As
the
I
one
tried
left.
As I try to hit him,
Yes.
I will say Leopold gives his regards.
Remember from last episode, that was the other guy.
43.
Is that hit?
Oh yeah.
Okay, he's going to try and parry that one. He parries that one with a 5.
Come on.
With the 9 that I rolled earlier on.
What was this expression when I told him about Leopold?
Hit him in the crotch.
Oh, yes!
He does look. He has a slight.
Yeah. That's what distracted him, and I rolled nothing. I rolled 27.
Okay, cool.
So 18.
So 72
Body
to the
again.
body.
Yeah.
His armour is less effective now, if you remember.
I only rolled 3, so I'm only on 7.
7. Have you got Strike Mighty Blow?
No, I am very strong.
Okay. Did it say that in the talent description?
It specifically said
Every time
time.
you say very strong, you have to go. Okay, cool.
That was implicit in any
So you do
game
how much,
structure.
sorry?
7.
7 damage.
Yeah.
Oh, it got through because his armour's damaged.
So I'm-
So let's roll a critical.
That's like, this is my first critical. This is the first critical I've ever rolled.
Really?
What qualifies for a critical, by the way?
Yeah, you
Sorry?
can,
What qualifies
When you're in negative
you
wounds,
can go back through all the
you
episodes.
still count as being
Pretty sure
0.
This is my
But your
first
negative
ever
just gets
critical.
worse and worse,
Okay.
and basically it gets higher and higher on this little table.
Do I roll 2 dice, Pete, for
You
critical?
do, and you want low.
Oh, low. So 71.
71. Okay. Oh, that's not too bad. What was it?
body.
Body. You.
Groin.
Unfortunately, it's not.
Oh.
You bring your sword around, and because he's wearing chainmail armor, it effectively turns it into a bit of a club, and you hear his ribs shatter under your blow, and he screams in pain. The character takes a minus 10% weapon skill penalty for the remainder until medical attention is received. Is anyone going to give him medical attention?
Of a sort.
Here's my axe. Right. Is that your turn? You haven't
Yes.
got any more attacks. Okay. Bagrik.
I'm going to give him some medical attention.
In the face.
In your face.
Yes, 19
Okay. So him in the 91.
in the left leg.
Okay. Roll. I don't like they often do sudden death.
Yeah.
So if you get that critical,
8.
what I should do is just say he's dead.
Yeah.
However, it's
8.
much more fun to figure out what other critical you've done.
Yeah.
8 damage.
Yeah.
Okay, so 4. Okay, 4 gets 3. Okay, jeez. Okay, right. Roll.
84.
Escalate.
Death by 1,000
So
cuts.
that escalates though, doesn't it?
It does escalate by 1.
Okay, right. You. The Dwarven brothers are having a bit of a leg day. They never skip leg day. And Bagrik hacks with his axe into this man's leg, which blood immediately kind of sprays in a wide fan across the three of you. And you're like, ugh! And you see that your axe is in the meat of his leg, and as you pull it out, it kind of angles away. The bone snaps, and his leg kind of hangs from a bit of his groin. The blood is just now flowing out freely, and he kind of staggers around. He is helpless, and a 20% chance of dying every turn. Let's roll. He's still alive. He kind of clutches his
I'm going to
leg.
hit him again then.
He's helpless. Yeah, so he's kind of there.
So-
So you get plus 30% to your weapon skill.
If someone's helpless, don't you do extra damage?
I must say, I do not know.
I mean, he's probably not going to
So I
survive.
hit him on a 9, so in a 90, so I hit him in his good leg.
Okay.
I think that's,
I like to think that's on purpose.
that's just bad aim.
And 12 damage to his right leg.
Okay, right. You cut his other leg off. Yeah, you go, and then you go, "Wah!" and you cut his other leg
Don't
off.
have the good decency to die. How dare you?
It's reminiscent of your body blow earlier on.
It's just taking longer.
And you hack through the leg, and his leg drops off, and his body just like does that cartoon moment where it's hanging in the air, and then it drops, but blood falls first, like, and then his body falls and hits the floor in a big splash.
Is he dead
now? In kind of bloody, meaty sludge.
I'm guessing he's now dead.
I'll roll. Yes, he is dead. He in a spectacular and gore-drenched fashion.
Yeah. So one leg, then the other leg, and then Sparta.
He's gonna like land like Stumpy, and you're gonna kick him over.
Yes.
He can slide in his own viscera.
Kick him backwards away from us. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, making a note of something.
Cross.
He's already looting. The spray
I was
blood
hoping it'd be
hits Alvin's
blood
face as he's
drenched.
walking past to pick up the loot.
And I'm going to get Max.
Okay, you get your throwing axe back, you get your crossbow. In the little hovel, there's a little quarrel with 12 bolts in it.
Can I
You
recover my
find one
bolt?
with 13.
I will pick up.
Yes.
Oh,
Make a roll, percentile roll.
Probably not. 73.
Yeah, fine.
I will pick up his crossbow as well.
Okay. Cool.
Perfectly acceptable dwarven rep.
Yeah, I'm going to search the body.
So they have-
Are you going to like move intestines out of the way?
Yeah.
No, not
Yeah,
the one
it's
that
got
he,
eggs
not the
on.
one,
Seems to have been carrying lots of sausages.
not the one that he chopped in half. The other one.
They have.
But they're filming something not delicious.
Yeah. Oh god, don't cook those up. Right, they've each got a hand weapon, sword, crossbow, some bolts. The guy on the fountain, he had a crossbow in the fountain,
Okay.
like sitting just
Yeah.
on the other side of the wall, with some crossbow bolts. None of them seem to be carrying any money, and they've got armour. They've got fairly workman-like clothes on underneath. And just the one on the fountain had this kind of large cloak, so you could kind of sit there and sort of be.
So only those two had the crossbows. So the guy with the sword and shield didn't have the crossbow.
No, the guy at the fountain
all
had a
had-
crossbow,
yeah.
but it was tucked into the fountain. You were too close for him
Didn't
to.
I have that crossbow? Since I don't have any ranged weapon.
You can have that crossbow.
Good, 'cause I got really good ballistic. No.
Right. Maybe damage, but you should probably put that chainmail on Manling.
Yeah, I should really have armor, shouldn't I?
Well, the suit of chainmail on the guy that you brutally hacked to
Hit him in
bits.
the leg.
You chopped his legs
It's
off, so his mail shirt is
Oh,
fine.
right. I don't know that, but
As he's saying that to me, can I just be like distractedly picking like clots of blood out of my?
Yep.
Huh? Oh, armor. Is there armor going? I could do it. I like big clot. I'm like, I'm not sure which of them this is from.
kind of reload my crossbow so it's ready for use when I need it.
I'm not going to because I'm sure I would shoot myself. It'll just be on my back and I'll be in the middle of a fight. And
Shoot yourself in the arse.
See, that's because it's not a dwarven made crossbow.
I'm not having any of that malarkey.
It's a Manling crossbow.
Yeah. In the little hovel where the guy was sat,
Yeah.
is there anything like there, like a bit of bread or a bit of meat or
Yeah, there's
cloth,
a little
like I
cloth.
used to wipe
There's a
my
little-
armor with?
There's a little cloth.
We're all drenched
with
in
some
blood
bread
now.
and cheese in it.
Is there?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I shall take the little cloth with bread and cheese.
Might be sticky.
So are we
Cook
going
my
to have we all
I wish this was the first time.
Oh,
we all got? Are we just going to wait and stand here while you put some armor on? This is like funny.
To be fair, it doesn't take long to put a chain shirt on. You literally put it on like a jumper.
Okay.
I'm gonna cut my mutton chops.
I shall try the door. I
You
shall
guessed,
try the
but
door.
yeah.
Well, there's this big
No, I don't
wooden
care.
fence around it, and as you look at it, you realise that on the front there is a section that looks like it's maybe some sort of not hinge thing, but something you can move out of the way to
Okay.
get into the property.
Has anyone now taken their swords?
I already have a sword.
Alright, I will stuff the sword so they're sticking out of my backpack.
Okay.
That cloak the first guy was wearing, the
Yeah.
fountain guy, was that like a really, what kind of cloak was it? You said it was quite a big
It's
one.
just like a big
It was
dark.
covering his sword
Now,
and shield.
it's now like a
Yeah.
really big soaked.
No, he threw it off.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he threw off.
Ah.
Yeah, so it was like draped around him to cover him.
Yeah.
Threw off, ready for action.
Just
It
'cause
might be
it's-
a bit big for
Yeah.
me.
Yep, it's
Well,
you
for
thought
both
it was
of us.
black, but now you
I'll
sort of pick
cut
it
it
up
in
and
half.
see it with a bit of moonlight. You realise it's just a deep dark blue.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'll take that.
Cool.
I don't know, is it
It's like a faint.
must be
around
quite-
the edge. You can see there's like a little silver hem.
it must be quite big if he was hiding
Are
a
there
shield
any
underneath it.
are there any
It's not like you
wheels
roll
on it?
upside down.
Not that you can see. Not that you can see.
You might want to check see if there's any wheels on that thing.
No, they were mercs.
Wheels.
They're just mercenaries.
It's a cloak.
Iconography.
Oh, stitching.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a
So
chaos symbol.
Alvin's he's like shouting out,
Yeah.
it's a chaos symbol. As he's opening the front door to the ruined temple.
Yeah, temple.
Okay.
The 8-pointed star, just generic chaos.
Yeah.
I'm going to redraw my axe and shield now. My crossbow's ready.
Okay. Cool.
I'm assuming Torvald's coming over
Yes.
He comes over with
with a
some
shirt.
stuff.
Well, that's where I got the chain shirt from.
Yeah.
So
I'm assuming he's nabbed everything.
Cool. Okay.
Who can see in the dark and wants to go first then?
I'll shrug and sort of walk forwards.
Excellent.
Which of the dwarves? Okay. So you walk into this area and it's looks like it used to be a nice stone cut building that has crumbled down and collapsed in on itself. Wooden struts from higher up are piled in around like debris. And sort of large blocks of broken stone sort of dot around the area. Most of the walls have crumbled down. It's sort of one side of the building still stands with remnants of some sort of mini flying buttress that's not really required for the structure, but maybe an affectation. And as you kind of come into the area, you realise that most of this building on the ground level has pretty much been destroyed. As the notes and documents that you found said, there was extensive damage here. And as you come in, you realise that the ground is uneven, and where, as you look at the temple, you realise everything that is still standing is slightly leaning in, and the ground in the middle of the temple is sort of sunken down. You can see at the back, inside, because it's fairly open, there is like a little stairwell that is going down into darkness, and there the top of the staircase looks like the stone itself is broken, like the integrity of the staircase may have been wrangled with during whatever happened beneath here. So it's kind of very open air. You kind of go in and there's no separate chambers. There's a temple floor collapsing in, and there is a stairwell that's going down. There's not even sign of an altar or anything like that. It looks like things have been torn away and taken away.
Should we tie a rope off to something up here, and then if it does all give away, we really.
Was it? You want me to stay up here? I can hold a rope.
Can we assess? Can the two of us assess basically the building for how stable we think the stairs are, and if we're going to have problems?
Sure.
From our knowledge of mining and stoneworking.
Yes, you may make rolls. Torvald, you get plus 20%.
I can hold the rope.
No. I think with your you're coming with us.
2 degrees of success from me.
Plus 20.
Mm-hmm.
4 degrees success from me.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
3 degrees because I forgot Dwarfcraft. You'll get the same if you forgot to include the plus 10.
Okay, 5 degrees of success from me.
Okay, so
You know every stone by name.
it looks like that whatever destabilised this area happened a while ago, which you know from your documents that it was when there was the Skaven troubles years ago, so it seems to fit with that. Torvald, you look and you can see that a lot of these stones now have been at rest where they are, and you think that perhaps this area is stable as far as it can be, temporarily stable. If there was another activity or something explosive went off, then it would probably fall apart very quickly.
Yeah.
But as it is, it looks like it's
safe enough to move around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Schultz has just suggested that he isn't actually aware of what we're doing.
I don't know why we're here.
In this location. So I
You're
wanted
starting to come
I
around,
wanted to ask you whether or
not.
not we should tell him about the Chaos Cultists, the demons, or the Skaven, or the artifacts, or the gold. Are there any of those we should let him know about?
I'm going to grin slightly when you say that.
I'm going to take my new cloak.
Wrap it around my
Basically, manling, some bad people want to loot this place.
Why? Always. It's never simple. It's never simple. Never simple. Okay, yeah, okay.
So we're here to stop them taking anything of worth by getting there first.
Demonic, Skaven, Chaos, Cultist. Yeah, okay, cool.
Did I mention the rats? There might be some rats.
The walking around kind or the human?
Big teeth kind.
Teachings.
Sharp,
Yeah.
pointy teeth.
Cool.
Okay.
Yep.
As you start to make your way into the area, you can see that to the left-hand side, there seems to have been maybe a small fire made recently, and around there are some sleeping bags inside a kind of a slightly more sheltered area of the ruined
How many
temple.
sleeping bags?
Oh no, come on! I've got supernumerate. I'm allowed to ask that question. You haven't got supernumerate.
They're
have
not,
you?
yeah, so they're not sleeping bags. They're kind of, you know,
But
like
he can
bedroll.
count.
They're bedroll type things.
Actually, that's okay. You can ask the question.
They're bedroll type things.
So I can just picture you being there, like Bagrik being there, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like going around, you're going, there's 27, there's 27 of them, there's 27. Immediately. It's the only thing you know. Sorry.
There are 7 bedrolls in this corner. And there is some stuff set up with, there's like a little metal thing to hang a pot off over a fire. By the side there's a pot that looks like it's been used for some sort of porridgey gruel. There's a few bottles, you know, with corks in.
Is it cold?
The fire where it was. It looks like it's just recently been put out.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe a very thin wisp of smoke and a few loose
But
bits of ash.
it does not suggest that someone was sat here, heard the commotion outside, and ran off to go and get his mates.
No.
Because that kind of fire would
No,
be
no.
there.
It would, yeah. This went out in the last couple of hours, kind of thing, rather than a long dead one.
Okay.
And there is a Warhammer leaning against the wall, just sort of sitting there.
Let's pick it up and examine it.
It's a hammer.
Generic hammer.
Yeah, it's like a hand weapon type thing.
Less spiky.
Alright, I will stick it in the bag.
Is it also made of gold?
Bag of bagwork. I don't know what you mean.
No.
Yeah. So you may be able to carry it, right? But how much can the rope take? That's my only thing.
That's
right?
a good point.
You know, how much weight can the rope take?
You have to go pretty hardcore to break a rope.
Yeah, you
Even
do.
twine, like. Yeah, okay. He weighs a
I've
lot.
got 12 swords.
Oh, I don't. I've got
I'm joking.
2 and a hammer.
3.
He's got 1.
Okay, cool. So, what are you going to do? You got the hammer?
Go down the stairs.
Right.
You wanna tie
Can we
a rope?
light a torch, or do you want to just do it by dwarf vision?
Well, we can see, but you won't be able to.
Yeah, but we can wait till we get close enough, and then you can dog people. I'm sure if we come up against bad guys, the bad guys will have torches.
Lighting a torch isn't something you can do instantly. You might want to get one before you go down.
Yeah, but it's like you know, when we get to the enemy, the bad guys, if they've got a torch, we don't.
In the meantime, we'll be tripping and making lots of noise.
Well, what are we going to fall over some dwarves?
What, is your plan that we put our hands on their heads so that they lead us forward? I don't think these guys are gonna like that.
Okay, let's get torches.
While they're doing that, can I listen at the top of the stairs? I want to see if I can hear anything while I'm down.
You can. Make a perception roll on hearing.
No. I hear them making a thing.
You go momentarily deaf. No, you don't. They're too busy talking. Right behind you.
Someone found the best way to make a torch and why we shouldn't just jump a dwarf.
Okay, so you're going to tie a rope off.
Yes.
There is a large cut piece of stone that seems to have cracked slightly. Do you think you could wedge a rope in the crack
Yeah.
and tie it off?
Right.
And then
I assume
dangle
with
that
his
down the
earlier
stairs?
roll, he's gonna know where the best place to tie it
Yes.
is anyway.
Yeah. So you tie a rope off.
Yeah.
And are you lighting a torch or not?
Yes, but not near the rope, because that would be silly.
Yeah, we're gonna let you lead the way anyway, I assume. So
Alvin, extraordinary, adventurer extraordinaire.
here's a tip: don't set fire to your own rope.
Okay.
All right.
Kill your own
So
YouTube channel.
from our assessment,
Yeah.
so from our assessment earlier, the stairs are fine.
The stairs look fine. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, it's probably best for you to go down first.
Okay.
Lead the way.
Right.
No one knows the underground better than dwarves.
Sure. Okay.
Walk
So you're going to take. Who's taking the torch?
Not us. We don't
Oh, so
need
you got
one.
the torch behind. You guys are going down. Okay. So you head down the stairs. You go down the stairs. and at the bottom of the stairs there is a ruined doorway. The door frame looks like it's a kilter. The door looks like it's actually been smashed in anyway, and is lying on the floor. You're right over there. We may have to take a momentary break while Simon sorts himself out. No, it's all right. Did a kilter set you off? The door is smashed on the floor, and on the door there is a plaque, and it says, "Within lie the remains of Saint Wilbrecht, the devoted follower of Our Lady Verena." And this is kind of smashed on the side. And in beyond is a room where the floor looks slightly uneven, but it's all stone, and it looks nicely made. It's not dwarf craftsmanship,
So it's badly made.
but for manling craftsmanship, it's actually not too bad.
By their
You know,
standards.
there's some respect that they put into this building. Yeah, by their standards. I assume we're going to go into this chamber. So you make your way in, and there is what looks like it used to be a sort of 30-foot by 30-foot room with a big box in the middle, big stone, like sarcophagus style thing, crypt style thing. The lid is off, smashed on the floor in pieces. The walls of the thing itself seem to be broken, but the back wall of the room seems to have slipped almost, and there's a big hole in it, and you can see, in fact, the far right corner of the room is kind of all just a big hole of darkness down below, and you can just make out natural rock beyond, like something opened up.
Like a tunnel. Okay.
Maybe, but it looks like it goes down.
Like straight down.
Like there's darkness, and you can see natural rock, but that's about it.
Okay.
So you guys come down the stairs behind, and you see the doorway, and kind of it's sort of been pushed to one side, and there is this stone coffin in the middle.
Well, I'm guessing this is where they wanted to go down. So let's look for somewhere to tie the ropes off.
Okay.
Get your spikes on.
Okay. So let's have a stone masonry roll and a mining roll. Anyone got any relatable skills for placing iron
16.
spikes?
I'm a schemer.
I also have scale shear surface.
Okay, cool. That's handy.
So 16, and I'm on 50, so
Okay.
passed by first something.
So, how did you do, Torvald?
Passed by
Don't forget your Dwarfcraft plus 10.
plus
Dwarfcraft.
10. 3 degrees.
Cool.
So
Okay,
both of
so
us did.
you guys help these guys with the placement of their iron spikes, and you kind of, near this hole, you kind of start to place spikes into the ground where the flagstones haven't moved too much, where things look a bit more level, and it's not quite as, kinked. Consequently, the ropes are sort of pinned in a bit of a way away from this hole, because the floor seems to sort of slope towards it. As you go past the stone coffin, you can see that there is in fact a skeletal remains in there, wrapped in some kind of material that's been torn apart, and some of the body parts look like they've been recently separated from others, and it's kind of looks like it's been dishevelled and
Looted.
indeed.
There weren't any ropes already thrown down, so we're assuming there isn't anyone down here.
No, I guess it's from all this gear that they've ordered that this is what
This
they
is
were going
what
to
they
do.
were going to do. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So you tie up some ropes and you throw them into the darkness.
Can I give them some pointers on this? As someone that's experienced at climbing and going down these.
Yes, you can.
Alright, I will explain to them in a very dwarvenly fashion about how to climb.
Falling is bad.
Don't fall, rope good, fall bad.
What range is your dark vision?
30
30
yards.
yards.
30 yards. Okay, that's not bad. So you look down the hole, and it goes down. You can see that there's more of a pool of darkness, an opening at the bottom, You can't quite see the bottom. But it looks like the tunnel opens out. It's not straight. It's like a...
Alright, so I can
kind of
basically see to the end of the
between
tunnel,
rock
and then there's
faces.
kind of something underneath that I can't see.
Yeah, like it opens into some sort of chamber.
So
Okay.
how long is the rope we've got?
How long is a length of rope?
Well, if
For
you can see,
Bumfish.
if you can see 40
I'm
yards.
assuming our ropes are long enough to reach the bottom.
Yes, you all have long ropes.
Okay, yeah, I'm guessing that they...
just
They will have ordered the right length of rope.
Just didn't want to get halfway down
Yeah,
and be like dangling, and the only way
No,
is
no,
to go back up again.
You'll notice before you dangle the rope how long it is.
Okay.
So you can buy rope in lengths of a yard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got like a 50-yard rope.
Okay, yeah, I'm
It's a big
basically
rope.
going to describe what you've just told me to
Yeah.
everyone.
It looks like a bit bumpy down there, so it looks like there'll be handholds and places to put your feet. It's not a sheer surface
Yeah.
as such, but it's climbing nonetheless.
Right.
Right, so you all brace yourselves. You do that, leaning back over the hole.
I'll go first, most experienced climber, and basically give them
Okay.
directions as to where they should be climbing to make it easier on them.
Okay. So let's have some scale shear surface rolls. If you don't have it, you're at half.
Okay.
But plus 10 because of Bagrik's
Direction.
direction.
What is skill service? Agility, I think.
Strength.
Oh, really?
If needs be, I'll
Scale
like
shear
ram
surface
spikes
and
and things in on the
strength,
way
yes.
down.
Let me just check that you don't get a bonus from rope.
Pass.
Well, we might do from all the climbing gear we're carrying.
Yes.
Don't know if that would be specifically
No, no.
mentioned.
Just checking. Because it might make it easy. For example. Under normal conditions, a skill test is required. Number of yards equal to your movement characteristic with a successful test. Strength. Related times none. Well, you get plus 10% for the rocky nature of the thing as well. So you're at plus 20% to half your strength, which is a weird way around of doing it. But
So you have strength first, and then
yep, plus 20.
So I get the plus 10
Yep.
for the...
How do we do?
I failed by like 2 points.
Okay.
Got 97.
You might want to re-roll that.
Yeah.
Passed.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in
97.
fortune point mine as well.
Okay.
On 90.
Okay. Cool.
That's better, yeah. 25 passed.
Cool. Okay. So you all start to edge down. Apart from Seigbert, who kind of sort of is a bit nervous and doesn't want to do that initial, repelling action of going over the edge. You don't fall unless you critically fail. You just don't really get very far. So you sort of edge down a couple of feet, but
Don't like it.
yeah.
I don't like it. Don't like it.
You do get to go back up again later.
That does not help. That means climbing.
Right.
This is
Yeah, so on the way down, where necessary, I'm going to ram spikes in.
Okay. So you punch
Basically,
some spikes
to make
in.
it easier for us
Let's
to
have
get
another
back up.
roll, and this roll will indicate how quickly it takes you guys to get down. If you
Oh, I
critically
passed by a
fail-
lot, by the way, on my climb down.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And we get plus 20,
Yes.
so that's fine.
Okay.
Passed.
fail.
Okay.
By
So
like
you guys
degree and a half.
are getting close to the opening at the bottom. Siegbert's still only halfway down.
As we lower, can I see what's down there?
As you get closer, you can see that the ground beneath is natural, damp rock. You can't see it, there's nothing in there. It seems to be some open
Can
chamber.
I hear anything?
You can hear trickling water. Make a perception roll, see if you can hear anything extra.
Yes, because I get plus 20. Yeah, I pass by a degree.
I passed.
Okay. Bagrik, you hear very faint moaning. Alvin, you don't see something so much as hear something so much as see. The rocky ground directly beneath you is slick because there's blood on it,
Okay.
not necessarily water.
Yeah.
So I see
It's
that.
just in the dark when he's bringing the torch down. You finally see. You then see it, but you kind of focusing on can I
The
hear
hearing.
anything?
Assuming it's too echoey to know where it's coming from.
Yeah. You're up a
Alright.
tube above an open chamber.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
So how far is from where basically the chute ends to the ground?
it's about, I think it's in yards, 4 yards.
Okay.
So it's like a 12-foot high ceiling.
Well, I'm just going to climb down.
Okay. The rope is touching the floor, and you climb down. You can see that the blood on the ground is being made slick by water, but it seems to have been there for a while. And you are now standing in a chamber, which is kind of a raised floor like this. And the chamber is wide. It's like a natural cave.
Does the light illuminate the whole cave, the whole chamber?
Yes, it's not.
Okay.
It's not.
You don't need to like
huge.
walk around.
No.
and
You
check.
can kind of see all the nooks and crannies. There are sort of little dark puddles of shadow and things at the corners where there's like a rocky outcrop that lights
Skeleton remains. Or...
make perception rolls. You can see ahead.
Am I down yet?
Takes you a little while, but yes, you come down.
I think I'm too busy guiding him down.
Okay.
6.
Use your leg.
No, grab
the
that
thighs.
thing!
I'm too busy just watching him,
Okay.
thinking, how can someone hit someone
You can
like
see
that?
that the
and
blood
not
on the floor. There is a trail of blood that goes off
Requires aggression.
towards
To attack
this.
the wall.
What looks like an opening. It's like a darkness. You can't really tell. It's hard to.
It's hard to get a handle on distance and
Yeah, it's not far away, but it's darkness, so you think it could just be like an alcove, or it could be a tunnel.
okay.
Right, once everyone's down.
There's a blood trail leading that way.
Seems a good place as any to start.
Just got here. Why is there always blood trails?
Shoot it off back.
The last one you
Excellent.
made.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't so much a trail as an explosion. But
Yeah.
yes.
I want to arm yourselves, manlings.
Yeah.
I shall arm myself in a manly type fashion.
Okay, so you guys are like
Handy
talking
sword.
and getting your equipment ready, and you hear from the darkness ahead of you. Like a strange rattling, like some sort of hell rooster cawing in the darkness ahead of you.
Sounds like
Comes
a chicken.
No, not quite. There's something beaked, like some sort of bird creature, screaming or cawing down this corridor.
I shall drop to one knee, arm myself with my crossbow, and spend several turns trying to load it.
Okay.
Just vaguely pointing the direction.
Oh, I have to
I
stand up.
I don't have crossbow shooting skill.
You don't need one. It's a basic weapon.
I don't know. I shall aim it with skill.
It's surprisingly easy. Hang on. Oh, yeah. You load a crossbow and sort of
Oh,
point
the
it
bolt
at
goes there.
Fletching first, right?
You just
They're
hear
like
this
cutting
kind of
strings.
Twist in
I think
midair.
it's coming from quite far away.
Throwing it.
There seems to be this kind of strange noise.
I'm going to approach the cave with caution. Or the opening.
As you start walking, you can see that on the floor, in the ground, someone has carved strange runes into the ground, or symbols, something that seems to be fanning out ahead of you in some sort of semicircular shape.
Now you see, you who was talking about chaos, and Skaven and demons. This shit is never good. It's not. We're going towards this.
Right. I'm gonna
People live longer who don't walk towards that kind of
I'm gonna
sound.
holster the crossbow and just run because that noise is really pissing me off.
When you're with no weapons.
Oh no, I'm gonna draw my sword and shield.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot more
You're
sense.
gonna run into the dark.
I'm going to put my weapons away and run into
Okay.
the door.
As you do that, as you do
I
that,
suppose behind my shield I've got my torch that just sticks out the top.
So you're just running ahead of us all.
boom, boom, boom. You're slowly melting
not really.
your face.
That's
Do you two want to follow him, or we just give him a minute and see what happens?
Let's wait for the canary to see what happens. Well,
Okay.
we're just going to walk forward.
It's like turn round and
Okay.
run back again.
As you do this,
Han Solo.
a figure, you see a figure appear in this opening.
Yeah.
And this figure seems to be wearing dishevelled clothes, and it looks like a broken man, his body twisted, and his face is horribly drawn out into what looks like a beak that is tearing out of his mouth from between his lips, and pain in these massive, wide, bloodshot eyes staring at you suddenly from the darkness. Mad, dirty, disgusting hair. You think there's a rat crawling around his clothes. His arms kind of curled up like this, and one hand has got massive, horrible claws on it. There's blood on the end of his beak, and he screams at you, and kind of shuffling, twisting, as if his spine doesn't quite work properly, runs at you.
I shall stop, because I don't see any point in both of us running.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. So, everyone roll initiative.
1.
Yeah. That's only one dice. I'll
That's
take
a bit
the
better.
blue one. That's my first dice.
I think I'm still going to go last, but I rolled better.
I roll better. I got 2 this time.
What did you get, Bagrik?
I got 34.
Oh.
I rolled a 9.
Did you?
Hey,
I have
for
more
me,
than
that's
you if I
really
rolled a
high.
0. Which I, yeah, you can't
So
roll.
that
40.
40. Whoa, hello.
I also rolled a 9.
46.
46 for Seigbert.
I rolled an 8.
And Alvin?
34.
You're as
You're
fast.
running towards me.
I like the way.
That.
What I love is that every combat seems to start with you running at someone, but rolling really shit initiative. But
I forgot, what was I going to do again? Oh, yeah, the combat.
Everyone else suddenly runs past me and engages in combat. That's why I run so fast. Otherwise, I'd just never get there in time.
You're just out of breath. Like, everyone's super fast. This like 5 yards I ran. Really took it out of me.
No stamina.
oh yeah, I've got that. Cool. Right. Okay.
Very dangerous
so
over short
screams
distances.
and run towards you. Seigbert, you go first.
Just chop it in half like I did the other thing. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Rune
How far
fang
away
it.
is he?
He is about 6 yards away. Running. Oh, 6 yards away from Alvin. So however far behind Alvin you were.
Well, I probably just came down from the wall.
Okay, so you're another 6 yards behind.
I don't know what my movement is.
The movement is your
4.
movement stat is 4, so you can move 8. Yeah, 8 yards, or charge 16. So you could charge him.
Yeah, fuck it, I'll charge him. Why not?
Okay,
What
cool.
could possibly go wrong?
He has balls. I like balls.
I like balls.
I love your balls.
Thank you.
God, that's a soundbite.
It's my facial expression while he's saying it.
Yeah. Okay, go for it.
Yeah, right. So it's just
Swing.
straight attack.
Yeah, straight attack it.
16.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Wicked.
You hit it.
In
Chest.
Cool.
Oh,
8.
nearly.
What was it? 3. 11.
11 damage. Okay. You slash the creature savagely across the chest, and his clothes are torn asunder easily. As you can see, they were sort of moth-eaten and falling apart and disgusting.
Did I hit the rat?
The rat flies across the room in 2 halves. One half each way. Hits the wall.
Every time!
yeah.
Keep bisecting things!
As you slash his clothes off, you see that on his chest, he has burned into his body a wheel with spokes. 8
How many spokes?
8.
Oh, good.
But on the wheel, the spokes extend slightly outside of the circle in kind of sharp points. This looks horribly burnt and sort of slightly as if under duress. But you slash him, the creature, across the body, and it screams in pain. Ah! As blood sprays out. You also notice that his right hand is slightly green. Okay, next it's Torvald.
Okay, I will delay.
Okay.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you.
Right, next, then it's Bagrik, Alvin, and the Mutant all together.
Hey!
Yay!
I'm going back on the rope now. I'm joking.
Please.
It goes to attack you with its beak, Seigbert. And as it does, you realise that its beak has grown out from inside of a normal human's mouth. You can even see his teeth are dotted around the outside of the beak, and horrible pain is in his eyes as he reaches forward with you with the beak. Make a willpower roll. At plus 20.
Hold on, so did all of us roll the same?
Yeah, 3 people rolled the same.
In the event of a draw, whoever's got the natural highest agility would go first. Which won't be me.
Yeah, 31.
Yeah, 25.
What's your agility, Alvin?
So Alvin will go first.
Okay, Alvin will go first. Go for it.
Alvin's going first. So Alvin hits him with 10.
Okay.
In the face.
As he rears
Right in the
back.
beak.
1. So 4 damage.
Oh,
Beak
great.
damage.
I think you just hit him
Doesn't
with a rolled up
lock the beak
newspaper. If you're charging. Oh no, he's run into combat.
He was already there.
And he's engaged, so I get plus 10.
Yes? Yeah.
So I hit him second time.
Okay.
And do him
Another 4
damage.
You are attacking him with a rolled up newspaper. No, bad.
Yeah.
He's attacking with the flat of the sword.
You're doing that thing where you just get close enough and just showing your skill. Okay.
You may hack them in
So-
pieces, and I just chip away.
Alvin stabs him with the very edge of his sword twice, and then he goes ah, and then attacks you. Well, wait. Yeah, make a willpower.
Poke.
34. So willpower is 33. So failed by 1 point.
So you get plus 20%. I said
Oh,
because it's minor fear. It's not like
Mega pass.
shit scary. It's just
Super pass.
Okay, you don't shit yourself.
Yeah.
He rolled a 17 to hit you, so hit you in the 71, which I believe is body.
Parry.
Scratch. Yeah. Alright. With my shield. Oh no. 69.
You do have.
I will fate point.
Yeah.
14
Okay.
point.
Fortune point. I get a free fortune point because of luck. So I'll use that.
Oh,
23. That's
okay. This beak is descending on your collarbone. It's going to take a meaty chunk out of you. And suddenly you're like, whoa! Boom, bring your shield up, whack it in the jaw,
That was
and it kind of
lucky.
pulls back.
And
One of his teeth pops out.
Can I be like, teeth? It has teeth! Over my shoulders.
Absolutely. Okay,
Human teeth.
then it's Bagrik.
Isn't it first?
It attacked.
Alvin,
Yeah,
sorry.
it attacked
Alright.
and he parried.
Kazoo! Yes. In that 84, which is its right leg.
Okay, swinging for the legs again.
Well, only short.
Dwarves love legs.
That's 7 plus 5, 12.
Okay. You hack his leg off at the hip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just he's got no armour. You've done 12 points of damage. He takes 3 off of that, so that's a minus 8. Roll. Yeah, minus 8 critical. That's I think it's all 10s on the.
I rolled a 59,
Yeah.
and it escalated.
You hack his leg off, and you hit him so hard that you cut through the other leg as well, tearing through both, and they kind of fall down either side of him, and the body hits the floor, blood spraying out.
Again, spartering him back over.
Sure.
Fall the other way.
And it falls over, and this beak kind of quivers one last time, and then you see a tear roll down the face of the creature.
Oh no, the emotion.
Falls.
Did we release him from his anguish?
Maybe.
When we're done, we should burn that thing.
Can I pick the tooth out of my shield?
Yes. It stinks.
I didn't sniff it!
It's that bad.
I want to know whether the rat's running away.
That's dead.
It'll be a chaos rat.
Yes, this thing is lying there. Looks like has no possessions, just some homeless person, maybe, that's been horribly mutated. As you kind of move him around, you see, or not move him around, but like move him out of the way of the tunnel that you want to go
I'm
down.
not touching the rest.
No, but you like move him. You notice that his back and things have got various like bruising, and the back of his head looks like he's fallen a long way and bashed his head.
Like falling down.
Alright, let's continue into the cave.
Remember these runes we discussed before you started running towards the sound?
Yes, the runes. Yeah,
The runes.
You're not a wizard, are you?
No.
Okay.
No. I nearly became a wizard.
One could have been. one could have been handy at this point.
But for a twist of fate, thanks for
tell
it
us
didn't
what
happen.
these That's what these runes are. So do you know what the runes are then?
No, but I'm saying this guy looks like he fell down here, and this happened to him.
Well, luckily
I don't like this arcane shit.
We
okay?
didn't fall.
I don't know how
we
you feel
climbed
about it, but I'm assuming you guys aren't a fan.
Just gonna smirk at that.
They're not dwarven runes, are they?
No. They're just they look like just scrawls, something that you don't really understand. Maybe arcane, maybe gibberish. You're not sure. But there is a chaos mutant on the floor in front of you, dead.
Well, if I'm going to get sucked into the 7 hells of hell, then that's okay. Should we carry on?
Oh yeah.
Okay. As you start going down this corridor, you can hear more running water, and there's the floor becomes sort of wet and slick, and ahead you can see a very faint green glow from around a corner.
We were warned about warpstone, weren't we?
And this tunnel is kind of going down now. It's just some kind of crack in the earth. And as you kind of round a corner, you realise there's a waterfall in front of you. The sound has become much more intense. And you're in kind of a crack between. You realise that maybe this is actually stuff coming out of the sewer above. There may be a crack in the sewer. And there's just because it stinks here as well. It's just foul, sort of, shit and crap and everything. And there is, through the water on the far side, out of reach, on the other side of this kind of crevasse in front of you, there is you can't see what it is, but there is like a green, very faint green glow behind this sort of water sort of falling. And every now and then there's like a break in the water, and you kind of see a glow, but you can't quite see what it is, as if something very small over there is glowing green.
Right. Is it kind of like a very bright green?
Hmm?
Like a warpstone green?
Yeah, I mean,
Have you ever seen warpstone? I've never seen warpstone.
Dwarves will have encountered this game and they know what it is.
Yeah, you know what it is. You may not have actually seen much yourself, but you think this is probably what people describe as warpstone.
Is there any sense of like tracks or any sense of movement and people traversing?
What you can see from where you are is that there is a lot of footprints on this ledge in front of you.
Yeah.
And there's a rock on the wall where some clawed hand has been holding onto it. And there are heavy footprints by that area, like someone was maybe leaning forward as far as they could, but holding onto a rock.
As an aside, I just rolled a 20 3 times in a row.
Nice.
Possibly because I made a warp stone.
yeah.
That's,
Evil things will happen to you. Yeah, they're good dice to have, actually, glowing green dice for Warhammer.
Don't waste them.
This is like a little ledge, and there is nowhere else to go. There is a slot in the earth in front of you with water and shit and stuff coming down it.
Yeah.
You can see at the bottom, in fact, that there is water down there. You're near the docks. Maybe the water table is just below you. You may have been up on the hill where you were. And there is something in the earth glowing in front of you. Think off to the right on the other side as well. There's some sort of tunnel over there. Maybe there's a ledge behind the water that's coming down. It's hard to tell. It's dark. Water's reflecting your light. It's tricky.
From what we've read, they seem to suggest that there were other artifacts down here.
Well, you don't want to touch that filth.
No. But there must be. So they must have searched this place. So there must be somewhere else.
I'm not sure if they've actually been down here.
Yeah.
I think that's what they wanted all this gear for.
It was to kind of get down.
How far away is the green building?
Well, it's sort of maybe 20 yards across.
And is it
30.
near the opening?
It's near this, what looks like a tunnel on the other side, but as I said, there's kind of liquid and stuff coming down over this
Do you want to
area,
try
so you
and
can't quite-
rig up some kind of rope thing?
We've got grappling hooks. You could throw grapples over, and swing across, but tie one off over here. You assume maybe that's what their kit was for, to get across this crevasse.
Yeah, so, okay. with our experience of all, underground kind of stuff,
Mhm.
what do we think is the best way to get across there? Ideally, avoiding that warp stone.
You think you could grapple hook across, and looking at the wall behind you, you think you could grapple hook back.
All right. Well, we're gonna. Yeah. All right. We'll do that. We'll prefix some ropes and spikes and.
Can we set up like one of those rope things? And
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna spike in.
Yeah.
We're gonna make this
yourselves to the wall
sturdy.
first. As in, like, if the grappling fails, but you're still tied to the wall over
So
here.
scale shear surface to do this because it's mining.
To set it all
Or
up.
mining.
It's more of a mining thing.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so. That's passed by 40.
Okay, cool. So it takes a little while, and Bagric's kind of sort of barking orders at you. You hold that, you throw that over there, put that there, dum dum dum, hammer that in, all this kind of stuff. There's a few throws across. You think you're going to have to go over there and make sure that things are safe on that side. But you kind of get the grapples positioned. You could get across fairly easily.
I might nibble on my bread and cheese whilst I'm watching them do their thing.
That's nice cheese.
Yeah.
And you set up a system for you to kind of
Yeah.
climb across.
Okay, we'll go across.
Okay, so you clamber across the opening under the earth, and as you get nearer this liquid, you do realise that there is a sewer above you that's kind of emptying out.
Yeah.
And it's pretty disgusting, but it's not anything you three haven't done recently.
Yeah.
You
I
kind
get
of
my armour cleaned again.
This will be a new
3
experience
times
for you.
again.
yeah.
You're going into the shit.
And a shower of shit descends upon you as you kind of climb across.
I'll wrap myself in my nice new cloak. So I can hopefully take it off afterwards. Hopefully the shit won't go everywhere. It'll go most places.
Yeah,
Not
good luck with that.
So you get to the
Might
other
miss a
side,
bit like here.
Tenacious smell.
covered in shit.
Yeah.
Not completely covered, but you're a bit worse for wears. And there is indeed a ledge on the other side with some sort of tunnel going off. You think maybe these two parts would have been actually connected previously, and has broken apart into ledges rather than a little room.
So these tunnels, do they look like someone has dug them?
Yes, they do. Yeah, they look like they're kind of natural, that have been enhanced or smoothed out now that you're down here. At first you thought, oh, it looks natural.
Can I tell who, not as in like individual, but what kind of species would have done it? Whether it looks human, dwarf, skaven, goblin.
It's not dwarven, but it could be human or skaven. You're not 100%. It's just they've tidied up natural corridors and things.
All right.
So you get to the other side, and there is this ledge, and sort of in a cluster of large rocks, what look like sort of quartz and things, sort of crystals, there is a small, very small, green stone, about that big, and it's glowing quite brightly, and it's sitting there looking beautiful, looking lovely. Yeah, it's kind of maybe like that.
At this distance, I mean, would we think it's pretty sure it's warpstone?
From what you know of it, yeah,
Don't touch it.
it's pretty cool.
That's the stuff of chaos.
Oh, what happens if you touch it?
You know our friend back there?
Yeah.
That.
Like, immediately?
Yeah.
Can do.
It's chaos.
I'm not going to touch it. What are we going to do with it?
I'm going to stand there, see how long your willpower lasts.
I'm basically going to walk around.
I'm not going to. I'm really not
I'm
going
going to go down the cave, but I'm going to say
Don't mind it.
be as far away from that
No, I
as
mean,
I
I have-
possibly
so
So
can.
you
be.
kind of
Yeah.
you sort of edge along the open edge of the ledge
Yeah,
to
basically.
the corridor.
Yeah.
And you can see that it goes away and down again. And if anything, it looks like it's slightly smoother, like it's been worked more down there.
Okay.
What's the plan?
Well, I've just kind of scooted away towards the opening, keeping myself as far from the green stuff as I can. And I've just kind of walked.
Okay, so we're going to go
Should
down.
we
Go down.
cover it? Just don't
We haven't
know.
got anything to cover it with.
I've got a really shitty cloak. It is covered in excrement.
You know that thick
You might
metal
wanna say that
is
on
the
the
best thing to, like lead or gromril
Yeah,
or something
but we
like
don't
that.
have any.
Is the best thing to put it in. Absolutely. Some things, some base materials don't accumulate the etheric
Yeah.
energy as much as others.
If
Maybe
we
we'll
if we had a
maybe-
lead box, we
Maybe
could get
we'll
rid of it.
find somewhere we go further down.
Maybe.
We're going into crypts and tombs
I'm
and things.
uncomfortable leaving it here.
Well,
You'll be here when we get
we
back.
can't touch it, not without risking the taint.
Yeah.
It's generally known that it's bad.
Really,
Really bad.
really
No,
bad.
I get that, but I just when you say the taint, I know you mean the taint of chaos. It's not what I'm picturing. Don't risk the taint.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Kev. Anyway, cool. So, no, I'm not cutting that.
I tried.
Yeah. Cool. So, you guys start heading down.
Yeah.
And the corridor indeed does start to be a bit more smooth, a bit more like they've tried to turn it into a bit more of a corridor. And as you go down, it sort of levels out a bit. There's some odd sort of gaps and bits to the sides as you go. And it gets to a stage where it splits into three. And ahead, you can see there is a large chamber down a very short corridor. And there is a massive pile of bodies. To either side, it's a long corridor. It seems to go around this chamber, and you can't see what's down there. Everyone make perception rolls.
Should we do that whole stop and listening thing?
Vision, listening.
Well, if you have either, I will apply them as fit.
Oh, I passed!
You passed.
I rolled a 4.
Okay, cool. And you're the hearing
I'm
dwarf.
the hearing dwarf. He's the seeing dwarf.
Seeing dwarf. Okay. So,
If I don't have perception, it's half, right?
Yeah.
yes, half your intelligence. Okay. So, Torvald, you see... Sorry, we'll do Alvin first. Alvin, there are 57 dead bodies in the room.
Yes.
And 57 dead bodies in the room, and they are piled up around one. There is a skeletal hand on the hilt of a sword that is thrust into the rib cage of another body. Yeah. Torvald, that sword. There is something about that sword.
Right.
Just, it looks really cool. It looks like it's nicely made. Maybe by dwarven hands, you're not sure.
Ooh.
It looks like a special blade. You can hear round the corridor either way, strange wind, like a howling, far away.
Okay.
Seigbert, you sort of pretty sure there are rats in every shadow. You kind of swipe, but there's nothing there.
It's already dead.
What the hell's done that?
This howling wind sweeps round this corridor.
We should go in there.
We should go in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I disagree. I realize we're going to go in there.
I'd just like to formally lodge my complaint. Fill this out in triplicate. File it with the Rolfson Industries.
At some point, one of you is going to go,
Who is
you know
walking
what?
the quicker between us? Who will get to the sword first? I wonder.
Well, you both enter the room. Unfortunately, the human has longer legs.
Hey, the lovely
Unless
legs.
Torvald is
We're not
intentionally
going
running.
to particularly try and grab the sword.
Okay, so as you enter this room,
Yeah.
it seems to be the scene of a battle.
Yeah.
And skeletal remains with rusted ancient armour, scattered pieces of mouldy fabric.
Human remains.
These creatures are bipedal, but they seem to have rat skulls.
Okay.
You believe that there's Skaven here.
Yeah.
However, dotted amongst them are a few non-Skaven bodies. There is a human body, a dwarf body, an elven body, dotted around in amongst them. And it seems that these people were locked in a pitched battle with 54 Skaven.
Yeah.
And one of them, the dwarf, is holding his hand, which is in a rotted glove, and you see the skeletal remains, chain down here. He's still holding, like the body is there, but the last hand is holding a sword, the hilt of a sword, in the body of a Skaven, a particularly big Skaven. And as you approach, you see that there is a rune carved into the sword.
Can I read the rune? Or can we understand the rune?
Are either of you a runesmiths?
No. But it depends if it's a magical rune. If it's a magical one, we can't. However, we would then know
Make
immediately.
an intelligence roll.
Yeah.
It is a dwarven rune of some strange origin that you cannot identify.
That's an eyesight.
Pass an intelligence test.
It is a dwarven rune of an ancient origin that you cannot identify. However, you believe this is a magical rune.
Which means the sword's dwarven made.
But a manling.
It is a dwarven made sword. As you approach, you can see it has a more geometric feel to it, an old school dwarf style.
Is it manling size?
Yes, dwarves don't use swords, so it would have been made for a human.
Yeah.
Or possibly.
But this dwarf seems to be holding it, almost as if it was like the last thing available to him. Everybody else was dead, and in his last throes, he stabbed the head Skaven through the chest, but died.
I'll kind of tentatively smile at the dwarves and kind of go,
Don't be too quick there, manling. You don't know if there's a trap.
You're going to go for it?
Yeah. So go for it.
Okay.
I've got a willpower of 29. Right, you can make me roll it if you like, but
Okay.
I'm so going to go for it.
Just, you go for it. That's fine.
Okay.
So, you reach out, and your hand clasps around the dwarf's hand.
Yeah.
And as you pick it up, we'll end the episode there, and we will wait till next time to find out what happens in the chamber beneath the Temple of Verena. Cool. It's getting late, but I thought we'd leave it there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. We had a lot of fun. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and comment below. Also on Twitter from the weekend, you should be able to vote on which character you think should have a free fortune point next time round.
Thanks for that one.
Same heart
Default.
Yeah, default. So don't forget to tune in. Go check out our other videos. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those wonderful places. There's the website, garblagggames.co.uk. But unless there's anything else, we will leave you guys, and we'll see you next time on Flint Steel. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.